The Israelites traveled through the wilderness of sin. Soon they had no food. They complained to Moses and Aaron, saying they wished they had stayed in Egypt, where there was plenty to eat. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "I will rain down bread from heaven." God told the people to gather only enough for each day, and on the sixth day they should gather twice as much for the Sabbath. That evening, quail filled the camp for food. The next morning, after the dew disappeared, small white flakes covered the ground. Moses said, "This is the bread the Lord has given you." The people gathered only what they needed, but some kept extra. Until morning, the leftover manna became full of worms and smelled bad, because they did not obey God's command. On the sixth day, the people gathered twice as much manna. On the seventh day, no manna appeared. The Israelites rested and honored the Lord's holy Sabbath. God told Moses to keep a jar of manna as a reminder for future generations. The Israelites ate manna for 40 years until they came to the border of the Promised Land. This was Exodus chapter 16, where God faithfully provided manna and quail for his people and taught them to trust him and keep the Sabbath. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you tomorrow for Exodus chapter 17.
After crossing the Red Sea, Moses and the Israelites sang to the Lord. They praised him because he had thrown Pharaoh's horses and army into the sea and saved his people. The people sang that the Lord is their strength and salvation. They praised his mighty power for defeating Egypt and promised that he would lead his people to the land he had prepared for them.
Miriam, the prophetess, took a tambourine, and all the women followed her with tambourines and dancing. Together they sang, "Sing to the Lord, for he has won a glorious victory."
The Israelites traveled through the wilderness for 3 days without finding water.
When they reached Marah, the water was too bitter to drink, and the people complained to Moses. Moses cried out to the Lord, and God showed him a piece of wood.
Moses threw it into the water, and the water became safe to drink. There the Lord taught his people to trust and obey him. The Lord promised that if his people listened to him and obeyed his commands, he would protect them.
He said, "I am the Lord who heals you." The Israelites then came to Elim, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, and they camped there beside the water. This was Exodus chapter 15. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter.
God told the Israelites to camp by the Red Sea. When Pharaoh heard they had left, he changed his mind. He gathered his army and chased after them with hundreds of chariots. When the Israelites saw Pharaoh's army coming, they became afraid and cried out to the Lord. They complained to Moses, but Moses said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and watch the Lord save you today." The Lord told Moses to move forward. The pillar of cloud moved behind the Israelites, protecting them from the Egyptian army. Then Moses stretched out his staff over the sea. All night the Lord sent a strong east wind. The waters divided, and the Israelites walked through the Red Sea on dry ground, with walls of water on both sides. The Egyptian army chased the Israelites into the sea, but the Lord caused confusion among them, and their chariot wheels became difficult to drive. The Egyptians realized the Lord was fighting for Israel. God told Moses to stretch out his hand again. The waters returned, covering Pharaoh's army. Not one of them survived, but every Israelite crossed the sea safely. The Israelites saw God's great power and trusted the Lord and his servant Moses. This was Exodus chapter 14. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter.
The Lord told Moses, "Every firstborn belongs to me." Moses reminded the Israelites to remember the day God brought them out of Egypt with his mighty power. They were not to eat bread made with yeast during this time. Moses told the people that when they entered the land God promised, they must celebrate this feast every year. Parents were to teach their children that it reminded them of how the Lord rescued them from Egypt. Moses told the Israelites to dedicate every firstborn male to the Lord. They were also to explain to future generations that God spared Israel's firstborn when he struck Egypt. God did not lead the Israelites by the shortest road because they might become afraid and return to Egypt. Instead, he led them through the wilderness toward the Red Sea. Moses carried the bones of Joseph with him because Joseph had made the Israelites promise to take them when God brought them out of Egypt. The Lord went before his people in a pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire at night. He stayed with them and guided them wherever they went. This was Exodus chapter 13. God led his people out of Egypt and stayed with them every step of the way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter. The Lord told Moses and Aaron to prepare the first Passover. Each family was to choose a perfect lamb, kill it at twilight, and put its blood on the doorposts. They were to eat the roasted lamb with unleavened bread and bitter herbs, ready to leave Egypt. Moses told the Israelites to obey the Lord's instructions. The blood on their doors would be a sign, and the Lord would pass over their homes. He also told them to celebrate the Passover every year as a reminder of God's rescue. At midnight, the Lord struck every firstborn in Egypt, from Pharaoh's son to the prisoners, and even the firstborn of the livestock. But every Israelite home, with the blood on its door, was protected. Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron during the night and said, "Leave Egypt with all your people. Go and worship the Lord." The Egyptians urged the Israelites to leave quickly and gave them silver, gold, and clothing. About 600,000 men, along with women, children, and many others, left Egypt. They carried their unleavened dough because there was no time for it to rise. After 430 years, the Israelites were finally free. The Lord commanded his people to remember the Passover forever. Only those who belonged to his covenant could take part. And the Israelites obeyed everything the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. This was Exodus chapter 12. God protected his people through the first Passover and led them out of Egypt. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter.
The Lord told Moses, "I will send one last plague on Egypt. After this, Pharaoh will let my people go. Tell the Israelites to ask the Egyptians for silver and gold." The Egyptians respected Moses and gladly gave them valuables. Moses said to Pharaoh, "About midnight, the Lord will pass through Egypt. Every firstborn in Egypt will die, from Pharaoh's son to the servant's son, and even the firstborn of the livestock." Moses said, "There will be great sorrow across Egypt, but the Israelites will be safe. Then everyone will know that the Lord has made a difference between Egypt and Israel." Moses said, "Your officials will come to me and beg us to leave Egypt. After that, we will go." Then Moses left Pharaoh in anger. Even after all God's signs and warnings, Pharaoh refused to listen. The Lord allowed Pharaoh's heart to remain hard. Everything was ready for the final plague. God had warned Pharaoh many times, but he refused to obey. The Israelites' freedom was now very near. This was Exodus chapter 11. Next, we'll see the first Passover and the final plague that leads to Israel's freedom. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next chapter.
The Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his officials. I will display my mighty signs so future generations will know that I am the Lord. Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said, "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go so they may worship me." Moses warned Pharaoh, "If you refuse to let God's people go, tomorrow the Lord will send countless locusts. They will cover the land so completely that the ground cannot be seen. They will eat every plant and tree left after the hailstorm and fill every Egyptian house." Pharaoh's officials begged him, "How long will this man be a trap for us? Let the Israelites go and worship their God. Don't you realize Egypt is already ruined?" Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron back and asked, "Who exactly will go?" Moses answered, "We will all go, young and old, sons and daughters, along with our flocks and herds, to celebrate a festival to the Lord." Pharaoh became angry and replied, "Only the men may go." Then Moses and Aaron were driven out of his presence. The Lord told Moses to stretch out his staff over Egypt. An east wind blew all day and all night. By morning, billions of locusts covered the land. They covered the ground until it looked black and ate every remaining plant, fruit, and tree. Pharaoh quickly called for Moses and Aaron. "I have sinned against the Lord, your God, and against you. Please forgive my sin one more time and pray that the Lord will remove this deadly plague." Moses prayed to the Lord. The Lord sent a powerful west wind that carried every locust into the Red Sea. Not a single locust remained anywhere in Egypt, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart once again. Then God told Moses to stretch out his hand toward heaven. Thick darkness covered Egypt for 3 days. No one could see anyone else or leave their homes. Yet the Israelites had light where they lived. Pharaoh called Moses and said, "Go, worship the Lord. Your children may go, too, but leave your flocks behind." Moses replied, "We must take all our animals because we do not yet know what the Lord will require for worship." Pharaoh refused again. Pharaoh shouted, "Leave me. Never appear before me again. The day you see my face, you will die." Moses answered, "You have spoken correctly. I will never appear before you again." Moses left the palace as the conflict between Pharaoh and God reached its final stage.
The Lord told Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say, 'This is what the Lord, the God of Hebrews, says, let my people go, so they may worship me. If you refuse and continue to hold them back, the Lord's hand will bring a terrible plague on your livestock.'" The next day, the Lord sent a deadly plague upon Egypt's livestock. Horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, sheep, and goats across Egypt died, but not one animal belonging to the Israelites was harmed. Pharaoh sent officials to investigate. They discovered that not even one Israelite animal had died. Yet Pharaoh's heart remained hard, and he refused to let God's people go. Then the Lord told Moses and Aaron to throw handfuls of furnace ashes into the air before Pharaoh. The ashes spread over Egypt and became painful boils on people and animals. The Egyptian magicians could not stand before Moses because they too were covered with painful boils. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he still refused to listen. Early the next morning, Moses warned Pharaoh. The Lord said he would send the worst hailstorm Egypt had ever seen. Everyone was told to bring servants and animals indoors, because anything left outside would die. Moses stretched his staff toward heaven. Thunder roared, lightning flashed, fire fell, and huge hailstones rained across Egypt. Crops, trees, people, and animals left outside were destroyed. But in the land of Goshen, where the Israelites lived, no hail fell. Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron. "This time I have sinned," he said. "The Lord is right, and I and my people are wrong. Pray that the thunder and hail will stop, and I will let you go." Moses left the city and spread out his hands to the Lord. Immediately the thunder stopped, the hail ended, and the rain ceased. Moses wanted Pharaoh to know that the whole earth belongs to the Lord. But when Pharaoh saw that the rain, hail, and thunder had stopped, he sinned again. He hardened his heart along with his officials and refused to let the Israelites go, just as the Lord had spoken through Moses. Egypt had witnessed another mighty act of God, yet Pharaoh refused to obey. His hardened heart would bring even greater judgments upon Egypt in the chapters to come.
God told Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and tell him, 'Let my people go so they can worship me.' But if you refuse, I will send frogs over all Egypt." Pharaoh refused to obey God. Aaron stretched out his staff, and suddenly frogs covered the rivers, houses, streets, and even Pharaoh's palace. Pharaoh begged Moses, "Pray to God to remove the frogs." and I will let the Israelites go." Moses prayed, and God removed every frog. But when everything was normal again, Pharaoh became stubborn and refused to let God's people go. Then God told Aaron to strike the dust with his staff. The dust became tiny gnats that covered people and animals across Egypt. The Egyptian magicians tried to copy the miracle but failed. They told Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." Still, Pharaoh refused to listen. God warned Pharaoh again. Then huge swarms of flies filled Egypt, but God protected the land of Goshen, where the Israelites lived. Pharaoh said, "Go worship your God, but do not go far." Moses prayed again, and God removed every fly from Egypt. But once the flies were gone, Pharaoh changed his mind again and refused to let the Israelites leave. Pharaoh's hard heart brought more judgment on Egypt. But God continued to protect his people and show his great power. The next plague was coming. Like, subscribe, and join us for Exodus chapter 9. God spoke to Moses before he entered Pharaoh's palace. God, "See, I have made you like God too. Pharaoh and Aaron will be your prophet." God, "Tell Pharaoh everything I command you." God, "I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will not listen." Moses and Aaron obeyed exactly as the Lord commanded. Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. They entered Pharaoh's throne room. "Pharaoh, show me a miracle." Aaron threw down his staff before Pharaoh. The staff became a serpent. Pharaoh summoned his magicians. The magicians performed a similar sign. But Aaron's serpents swallowed their serpents. Even after witnessing the miracle, Pharaoh refused to listen. The next morning, God instructed Moses to meet Pharaoh by the Nile River. "Moses, the Lord says, 'Let my people go, so they may worship me.' Moses, since you have not listened, you will now know that the Lord is God." Aaron stretched out his staff over the Nile. Immediately, the water turned into blood. Fish died, and the river began to smell. Every source of water in Egypt was affected. The Egyptians dug along the Nile searching for fresh water. But Pharaoh's magicians copied the sign. Pharaoh's heart remained hard. He returned to his palace and ignored God's warning. 7 days passed after the Nile was struck. Pharaoh witnessed God's power, yet he refused to obey. The first plague had begun, but greater signs were still to come. This is Exodus chapter 7. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story. After Moses cried out to God, the Lord answered him, "God, now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. God, because of my mighty hand, Pharaoh will let my people go. God, I am the Lord. God, I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God, I establish my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan." God had heard the suffering of Israel. God, I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. God, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and mighty acts of judgment. God, I will take you as my own people, and I will be your God. God, I will bring you into the land I promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses delivered God's message to the Israelites, but the people could not listen because of their discouragement and harsh labor. Then God commanded Moses to return to Pharaoh. Moses, if the Israelites will not listen to me, why would Pharaoh listen? Even so, God again sent Moses and Aaron to Pharaoh. The Bible then records the family lines of Reuben, Simeon, and Levi. From the tribe of Levi came Moses and Aaron. These were the men chosen by God to lead Israel out of Egypt. God once again commanded them to speak to Pharaoh. God, tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, everything I tell you. Moses, I am not an eloquent speaker. Why would Pharaoh listen to me? Though Israel was discouraged and Pharaoh remained stubborn, God reaffirmed his promises. The time for Egypt to witness God's power was drawing near. This is Exodus chapter 6. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story. After gathering the elders of Israel, Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh with God's message. Moses and Aaron, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Let my people go, so they may worship me in the wilderness. Pharaoh, who is the Lord, that I should obey him and let Israel go? Pharaoh, I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go. Aaron, please let us travel 3 days into the wilderness to worship our God. Instead of agreeing, Pharaoh became angry. Pharaoh, the people are already numerous, and now you make them stop working. That same day, Pharaoh gave a cruel new command. Pharaoh, do not provide straw for the people anymore. Let them gather it themselves. Pharaoh, but require them to make the same number of bricks. The taskmasters immediately carried out Pharaoh's command. The Israelites scattered across Egypt searching for straw. They worked harder than ever, but could not keep up. The Egyptian taskmasters beat the Israelite foreman. The Israelite foreman went to Pharaoh seeking help. Foreman, why do you treat your servants this way? Pharaoh, you are lazy. That is why you ask to worship. The foreman realized Pharaoh would not help them. When they met Moses and Aaron, they blamed them for the situation. Moses was deeply discouraged. Moses, Lord, why have you brought trouble upon this people? Moses, ever since I came to Pharaoh, things have become worse. Israel's suffering grew worse, but God had not forgotten his people. Pharaoh's hardened heart would soon witness the power of the Lord. This is Exodus chapter 5. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story. Standing before the burning bush, Moses still felt unsure about God's mission. Moses, what if they do not believe me or listen to me? God, what is that in your hand? Moses, a staff. God, throw it on the ground. The staff instantly became a snake. God, reach out and take it by the tail. When Moses grabbed it, the snake became a staff again. God, Put your hand inside your cloak. When he pulled it out, his hand was covered with a skin disease. God, put your hand back into your cloak. When he pulled it out again, it was completely healed. God promised these signs would help the Israelites believe. Moses, Lord, I am not a good speaker. Moses, I am slow of speech and tongue. God, who gave human beings their mouths? God, now go, I will help you speak. Moses, please send someone else. God became angry, yet he showed mercy. God, your brother Aaron is already on his way to meet you. God, you will speak to Aaron, and he will speak to the people. Moses obeyed God and returned to his family. He gathered his wife and sons and began the journey back to Egypt. Along the way, God prepared Moses for the mission ahead. Meanwhile, Aaron was traveling to meet his brother. The two brothers met at the mountain of God and embraced. Moses told Aaron everything the Lord had said. Together, they gathered the elders of Israel. Aaron shared God's message, and Moses performed the signs. The people believed that God had seen their suffering. They bowed down and worshipped the Lord. God patiently prepared Moses for his calling and gave him the signs he needed. With Aaron by his side and Israel believing, the confrontation with Pharaoh was about to begin. This is Exodus chapter 4. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story. Moses had lived in Midian for many years. He worked as a shepherd, caring for the flocks of his father-in-law Jethro. One day, Moses led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to the mountain of God, Horeb. Suddenly, something extraordinary caught his attention. A bush was on fire, yet it was not burning up. Moses, I must go over and see this amazing sight. God, Moses, 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 here I am. God, do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. God, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. God, I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. God, I have heard their cries and know their pain. God, I have come down to rescue them. God, so now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh. Moses, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? God, I will be with you. Moses asked what he should say if the Israelites asked for God's name. God, I am who I am. God, tell them, I am has sent me to you. God promised that he would bring Israel out of Egypt into a land flowing with milk and honey. God warned Moses that Pharaoh would resist. God, I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with wonders. God promised that the Israelites would eventually leave Egypt with great wealth. At a burning bush in the wilderness, God called Moses to become Israel's deliverer. The rescue of God's people was about to begin. This is Exodus chapter 3. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story. During Pharaoh's cruel rule, a Hebrew man and woman from the tribe of Levi had a son. The mother saw that the baby was beautiful, and she hid him for 3 months. But when she could hide him no longer, she made a basket. She placed her baby inside the basket and set it among the reeds along the Nile River. Miriam, the baby's sister, watched from a distance. That day, Pharaoh's daughter came to the river to bathe. She noticed the basket among the reeds. When the basket was opened, the baby began to cry. Pharaoh's daughter, "This is one of the Hebrew babies." Miriam, "Shall I find a Hebrew woman to care for the baby?" Pharaoh's daughter, "Yes, go." Miriam quickly brought her own mother. Pharaoh's daughter, "Take this child and care for him, and I will pay you." So Moses' own mother cared for him during his early years. When the child grew older, he was brought to Pharaoh's daughter. She adopted him as her son and named him Moses. Years later, Moses grew up and saw the suffering of his Hebrew people. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew worker. Moses intervened and struck down the Egyptian. The next day, Moses tried to stop 2 Hebrews from fighting. "Hebrew man, who made you ruler and judge over us?" Moses realized his actions had become known. When Pharaoh learned what happened, he sought to kill Moses. Moses fled Egypt and traveled into the land of Midian. There he rested beside a well. The daughters of a priest named Reuel came to draw water. When shepherds drove them away, Moses defended them. Moses helped water their flocks. Reuel welcomed Moses into his home. Eventually, Moses married Zipporah, one of Reuel's daughters. They had a son, and Moses began a new life in Midian. Meanwhile, the Israelites continued suffering in Egypt. They cried out to God for help. God heard their cries and remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God was preparing Moses for a greater purpose. Though hidden in Midian, he would soon be called to deliver Israel from slavery. This is Exodus chapter 2. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story.
After Joseph and his generation passed away, the Israelites continued living in Egypt. The descendants of Israel multiplied greatly and became very numerous. Then a new Pharaoh came to power in Egypt. This Pharaoh did not remember Joseph or what he had done for Egypt. Pharaoh, "Look, the Israelites have become too numerous and too powerful for us. Pharaoh, if war comes, they might join our enemies and leave Egypt." So the Egyptians made the Israelites slaves. They were forced to build the store, cities of Pithom and Ramesses. But the more the Israelites were oppressed, the more they multiplied. The Egyptians became increasingly afraid of them, so they made the Israelites work even harder. The Israelites' lives became bitter because of harsh labor. Then Pharaoh gave a secret order to 2 Hebrew midwives named Shiphrah and Puah. "Pharaoh, when a Hebrew boy is born, kill him, but let the girls live." But the midwives feared God. They refused to obey Pharaoh's command. When Pharaoh learned the boys were still alive, he summoned the midwives. Midwives, Hebrew women are strong and give birth before we arrive, because the midwives feared God. He blessed them. The Israelites continued to grow stronger and more numerous. Then Pharaoh gave a terrible command to all Egypt. Pharaoh, every Hebrew baby boy must be thrown into the Nile River. Egypt's king tried to stop God's people, but God's plan could not be stopped. Soon a baby would be born who would change the history of Israel forever. This is Exodus chapter 1. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story.
When Jacob died, Joseph fell upon his father, weeping and kissing him. Joseph ordered the Egyptian physicians to prepare his father's body. The Egyptians mourned for Jacob for 70 days. After the mourning period, Joseph asked Pharaoh for permission to bury his father in Canaan. Joseph, my father made me swear to bury him in the land of our ancestors. Pharaoh, go and bury your father, as he made you swear. A great funeral procession traveled from Egypt to Canaan. Egyptian officials, Joseph's brothers, and many servants joined the journey. They stopped to mourn deeply before entering Canaan. At last, Jacob was buried in the cave of Machpelah. After burying Jacob, the family returned to Egypt. But Joseph's brothers became afraid. Brothers, what if Joseph is still angry because of what we did to him? They sent a message asking for forgiveness. When Joseph heard their words, he wept. Joseph, do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? Joseph, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Joseph, God used these events to save many lives. Joseph completely forgave his brothers and comforted them. Joseph lived to see his children and grandchildren. As Joseph neared the end of his life, he spoke words of faith. Joseph, God will surely come to your aid and bring you out of this land. He made the Israelites promise to carry his bones with them when God delivered them. Joseph died at the age of 110. His body was placed in a coffin in Egypt, waiting for the day God's promise would be fulfilled. Genesis ends with faith and hope. Though God's people remained in Egypt, Joseph trusted that God would one day bring them home. The story of Genesis closes, but God's plan was only beginning. This is Genesis chapter 50. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next Bible story.
28 days, 15 minutes a day, 10